Hey, hello everyone. Monique here of Silver Paw Studio and founder of Pro Pet Photog. Happy to see you here today on this live stream. This is Marketing Back to Basics class number 2. I really hope you were able to join us for yesterday's class. It was really wonderful with all of the amazing questions and answer time. If you haven't had a chance to see that, it is still over, as a published video here on the Pro Pet Photog YouTube channel. We're going to let people come into the stream for just a couple of minutes. If you are a replay viewer, hello. Sorry you couldn't make it. I understand that people live in different time zones, and you can, if you want to, just skip to the class, go to the first chapter marker I'm going to put in. And let's see who we got. Frank is here. Snowy cold Colorado. That is right. I have my tea. It's a little late for coffee, I guess. Yes, so I have my tea. We have a really, really jam-packed class today. I meant to get you this link to put in. Patty's here. Yay. I'm going to grab the link real quick. Let's see if I can find it. There is a downloadable that goes with the class today. And I don't think I've quite put it up here yet. Oh goodness, sorry. I meant to have that for you ready, but you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it while you're in class, and I'll put it in the chat too. Um, okay, so I finished a big project today, and I already had a glass of wine. Confession time. Yes. So while you're here and everybody's coming in, we're only 2 minutes into this. I want to get started before the 5-minute mark. What did you think of yesterday's class? Did you get a chance to do the assignment at the end? Did you come up with some content ideas and some phrasing that will get people engaged with your upcoming content? If you were able to do that, I'd love to hear about it in the chat. And a couple of you actually posted in the Facebook group, which is so wonderful because we had all that great conversation. And it's nice to have the visuals and a little bit more story behind it over in the Facebook group. While we have a little bit of time, if you're looking for the Facebook group, here it is. You must answer all of the questions. I think there's 5. You must answer all the questions to be accepted into the group. Love to see you there. Yes, we have a page as well. And so that just has general announcements, things like that. I hope my internet is doing okay for all of you right now. As Frank said, we did have a snowstorm, but a lot of it's, melted off the off surfaces. So I think we're okay. I've asked my husband to please not live stream anything while we're here. So he is busy making banana bread. Ooh, yummy. I'm so excited for that. Yes. Thank you, Patty. I love that you posted the blurb about Bruce. And it was already following the what I had taught yesterday. So you'd already known that, which is awesome. So fantastic, wonderful. So today we're going to talk all about different topics. What's going to happen is that in a couple of minutes here, I'm going to play the pre-produced class for you, and I'll be watching the comments as we go and writing them down. And the questions. So just after class, I'm going to open it up for Q&A, and Q&A will go to the top of the hour. So as you're watching this, if you think of something, go ahead and just post it right away in the chat, because I will see it and I'll come back to it. And the Q&A is a really valuable part of this class. This is a chance for you to get free one-on-one with me. And I try to give robust, personalized answers for you as much as I possibly can. All right. I also have a Google Doc going of questions as well. And again, if you are not here on the live, go ahead and type it in the regular comments here or put it in the group or email me if you want to know my email. Here we go. Monique at propetphotog.com. So you can always email me your questions as well. And I'm happy to answer those on Friday when we do the last day is massive Q&A for your pet photography marketing. Yes. And if you are a photographer that's pro, amateur, aspiring, volunteer, this is all great information for you. So I'm really excited to get started. So let's start class. Everybody ready? We're at the 5 minute mark. We are going to go over here and start the class. And let me take away this branding for a second. And I'll see you back here in a few minutes just after class and we'll do the live Q&A. Okay. Welcome to class number 2 of the Marketing Back to Basics course all week here on YouTube. This is free and open to everyone. Yesterday, we talked about how to not use social media as a me media and how to be interested versus interesting. And today, I'm going to give you some practical topic ideas to use in social media and really all your marketing, just so you know. This part of the presentation is pre-recorded. At the end of this, I will open it up for live Q&A. So let's get into it. We're going to give you some topic ideas. That's right. First, though, a tiny bit about me. I have 8 years of professional experience here in Colorado. Before that, I was a photographer of people in Washington State. And I managed a veterinary practice. And then since I moved to Colorado, I have started this YouTube channel. I really hope you've had a chance to watch some over the 250 videos I have here. And on propetphotog.com, I have courses and resources, one of which I'll have a link for you today to follow along on this class. And it is also a free resource. And there's my little pupper, Bailey. Okay, so we know that there are all kinds of digital marketing and social media options out there, and there's even more than this, uh, but this is what we have to start with, and it can be a little bit confusing. And you might be thinking, "Oh my, you have so many choices that you don't know what to post. You're hungry for ideas." And this actually kind of came about because I talked to someone a few months ago who said, "Okay, I have a slow time in my business and I haven't been able to get to the shelter, so I don't have anything to post." And I thought, "Oh goodness, you have a lot to post." We're not just talking about posting pictures from our sessions, whether they're volunteer or paid. So we're going to go over a ton of ideas today, so don't you worry. What I want you to be considering on any of these is what Franklin Taggart, one of my coaches, says: the most personal is often the most universal. So I will often take pieces from my personal life. Here is when I turned 50 and I was out on a nature photography walk and I had my husband take a picture and I did a post about it. 50 is my favorite number. And so I talked about that in that post. I talk about my grandkids, milestones, my ups and my downs. You want to be relatable to all these people because this is not just an audience or a target or potential clients, things like that. These are people. This is like if you're talking to your neighbor next door or someone you were volunteering with at the shelters, what can you relay? And my mind is constantly working this way. It's constantly thinking like yesterday's class, not how I can make it about me necessarily, but how my experiences can be relatable to other people. So keep that in mind as we go through today's class. So what I've done is I have broken down the topic ideas between basic, intermediate, and advanced. And this is just say the basic level is just you're just now getting started with either one of a new platform or all together, or you're just not sure where to even start, or you feel like you need to recover the bases. And you probably basics you should do that on a continual basis anyway. And then intermediate, okay, you've been on digital for a while. Like, what are some a little bit more intermediate ideas? And then advanced. So if you're ready for advanced, I will have some options for you too. And obviously, this is again not an exhaustive list, but there is a list that you can grab over on propetphotog.com, content topic ideas. This is a list of basic, intermediate, advanced topic ideas and a worksheet to go with it. So you can write down your ideas and be ready for when you're just sitting staring at your screen going, ugh, what do I post? I have no idea. All right. So basics. I know this sounds oversimplified. I know it does. Okay. But this is where you can start if you are just beginning or if you have no sessions to show off. Who, what, when, where, why of your studio, your mission, yourself, your pets. You have so much to talk about beyond sharing your sessions, which I also have on here. Share any sessions, whether they're volunteer, model call, paid clients, it doesn't matter. Your dog, share. Everyone, you're a pet photographer, you have the cutest subject in the world, share that. And calls to action, CTA is calls to action. So we'll talk about some of that. But basics is just that. Who are you? What is it you offer? When do you offer it? Do you only do weekends? Do you only do evening sessions or morning sessions? Where? This is something that's kept off of so many web pages and places like where in the world do you even offer your services? People need to know that because internet, like we don't know where we're at. We're scrolling around the internet. We need to know where you physically are located. Why you're doing this. This is huge. This is how you're gonna connect with other people and their values, and then you can repeat this over time. So here are some examples. Now, this one's not on social media. This is my about page, but I wanted to show you how we could take one of those, take a why and take it from a me statement to about someone else. Remember, if you start it with you instead of I, this can put your reader into they can fit in your shoes. Does that make sense? Okay, let me read it about Silver Paw Studio. If you're reading this, then you are a pet lover, pet business owner, or both. You deeply understand the concept of human animal bond and want to celebrate it with photos or videos. And that's where Silver Paw Studio can help. So that part there, it talks all about them. People will put themselves in those shoes like, yep, that's who I am. She's talking to me. And you can take this blurb and put it on your socials with that picture, with your profile picture. Absolutely, you can do that. So there's one example of covering the basics of who you are, who your business is. This one, this is about my dog, and she can be difficult. This is from a blog post, and I was just talking about how she loves her walks, but she doesn't love to encounter other people on those walks. So we have to steer clear, go to the other side of the road, make sure I edited out her harness and her leash here. She always has her harness and her leash on. We have to go through a lot just to get her out on her most beloved walks. And I know that my clients can relate to that. So many people can relate to that. So this is a way to introduce my dog and also have it not be completely about me. So that is who. This slide probably looks familiar if you were in class yesterday. This is another idea of how you can highlight a session by talking about that animal, but also having it relate to someone. So, this is kind of what you do um, and an example of your work. So, in this example, if you remember from the other class, it gives you an idea of where you can take your dog. Now, these highlighting a session highlight, this was a client, but it could very well be a rescue animal that you volunteered for. It could be your own dog, like we saw before. It could be a model call dog. Uh, this could be so many ways that you can highlight sessions. It doesn't all have to be client session. I want to legitimize that. You can use volunteer sessions in your portfolio and all of your marketing. So just remember that. Here's another idea. This is what you do. This is one of your products. Here is a sample post for product placement. And this is if you don't actually have samples yet. So if you're thinking, okay, I've got to get some clients before I can order the samples, in Canva, in the free version, even, you can look up mockups. This is like a desk mockup or a shelf. And this is just, I put a picture sized it just right inside that picture frame, and it looks really good. And so this would be one of those things where it's a product placement. This is you value printed products. It's nice to take a look at your dog in your house. And also a direct call to action. Contact me. Your pet has the best of everything. Treat them to the best day ever with a photo session. Your pet will be spoiled with loves, treats, and special time with you. Tap below to start. So I've talked about what I my goal of all sessions is to for everyone to have the best day ever, and that they know they don't have to, like, sit on command. It's not gonna be a high stress environment. They're gonna be totally spoiled, and who doesn't wanna spend a nice afternoon at the river with their dog? So tap below to start, however you wanna put that direct call to action. You have to say exactly what you want them to do. So you can see how that covers a lot of these basics that we talked about. There's so many more, and we can talk about that in the Q&A, but let's go to the next level, which is intermediate. And this is when you do have some of that experience. And so use it. You can do roundups, which by that I mean take a bunch of your pictures and put them together in like maybe a carousel on Instagram or um, a collage of all maybe it's all of the cats you photographed at the shelter this quarter. Maybe this is where you're going to talk about events you're at or you're going to be at. Reviews, and again, your sessions and your call to action. Don't forget that. um, and your freebies, your opt-ins. Talk about your values in here. This is when you've kind of established yourself a little bit more. You've gotten all of your basics of business set up, and now you're like, okay, I've got some content. I've got some things to talk about. So here's some ideas behind the scenes. Honestly, take more pictures than you ever think you'll need. Because even when I was looking through this slideshow for these presentations, like I struggled finding some of the pictures, and I take y'all know me, I take so many pictures. I have selfies, I have videos, I have behind the scenes, just a massive amount. You're going to need all of that. And part of this is to show your personality, and part of it is to show your process and like, here's behind the scenes. See, if you were to come to Silver Paw Studio, this is what you would see. This is what you'd encounter in the studio. Um, and this is what I'm like there. So really helps put people at ease so they understand what they're about to do. And really, if you can hand your phone to your client, and I have done this. Here's my phone. You have the camera ready to go. Can you please take some pictures of me taking pictures of your animals? Just some behind the scenes. I have Frank to do that for me now, my assistant, but I have definitely handed my phone to a client. Or if I notice them taking pictures, I say, oh my God, that's so fun. Make sure you send those to me. I want to be able to use that. And they're so excited. They thought they were getting caught, but you're very happy for them to do that. And these are so great for like Instagram stories. It's so fast and easy to do a story. Here I am at a photo session with my new friend, this little cute puppy, and that's a story. You're done. There's your piece of content for Instagram for the morning. You know what I mean? Um, this could be come to this event. So behind the scenes, make sure you come to the event, or I'm at the event now. Come to this fundraiser that I'm part of. So there's all kinds of things in here. When you're talking about your process, so there's a lot of people, especially over on TikTok, a lot of artists talk about their process. But what you want to be careful with is that doing that doesn't just attract other photographers. Now, for me, that'd be great, right? But for you, you want to attract clients. And so the more you talk about your process, the more other photographers are going to come asking about things. So, how can, if you're doing something like TikTok and you want to show the process, make sure it relates back to your clients and what they can expect and what they can receive. So, a little word of warning there. So behind the scenes are awesome. Whenever you're anywhere, take pictures. Whenever you're anywhere, take pictures. Oh, and video, especially vertical video. It doesn't have to be long, 3 seconds, it doesn't matter. Take a little video, take a little pictures. Okay. Another one is now you have clients, right? So here's another example of take pictures. So if your client sends you pictures on their wall, like, look, I hung them all up. Great. Ask them for permission to use that online. Before you deliver everything, spread it all out and take a picture. I should have taken the plastic off these. It would have looked nicer. I have even been known to clear off my own wall and hang out my clients' orders on the wall and take a picture of that so I have a reference point to give people. So this could be your post. We know you will love passing your pup's photo on the walls of your home every day. We help you design the perfect size and product to fit all your design needs. So here's obviously the display on the wall. And this other client, she got a collage, she got a canvas, she got a framed print, she got an album, she got some small prints. So we're showing like this in their mind, this is an average order. So when you show this to your client, they know they can expect all these different types of things. And it'll be with the plastic on it, safe and secure, and that they can expect to order this much. Wouldn't that be great? And this is inspiration for like decorating, gift giving, etc. So those times when you're on Pinterest and you're looking for ideas for decoration, wouldn't this be fun to come across? You can be the person putting it up there. So you can do this for your samples or actual client orders. But at this point, hopefully you have some client orders and you can show those off in a physical way. Client reviews. Now, I've gotten kind of out of the habit of this, but it's great to have this as part of your entire process. So once you've delivered your order, your follow up email should say, hey, here is a link to Facebook and Google. I would really appreciate a a review. It really helps small business. And so I actually posted this the other day. These are my dog trainers, and we did a whole session for them for their dog training company. And so I've used this picture along with what they actually said in their review. Monique Renee at Silver Paw Studio is creative, innovative, and tech savvy. I would recommend her for all your personal and business photography and video needs. Great. That covers everything. How nice is that? So definitely put out those client reviews. Social proof is huge. Okay. That is kind of the like tip of the iceberg for the intermediate. Again, make sure you get that downloaded and you can have a whole bunch more ideas. But we're going to move on to advanced. This is where you're gonna up-level your production and your style of your content. And you're probably gonna I would suggest making it more personal at this point. You have some people who are your followers, and you can talk a little bit more personal. You don't have to overshare, but people wanna know a little bit about you. Again, your sessions and your calls to action. So images and reviews from clients, your calls to action in here can be on the more advanced side. And I don't know if I have a slide on this. I don't think so. So a call to action here could be click here to get this free download and be on my email list. So we'll talk about email lists in another class, but this is where you're going to up level things. And this is where you're going to see me say to do this. Video, people, video. And you can see this video is simply still images with some music and words on it that I made super, super simple in Canva. This can work as this was a YouTube short. It could be an Instagram reel. It could go on TikTok. It can go on Facebook stories. I mean, just there's so many places you can put a very, very simple video like this to up level. This is how you're going to up level your production. This is where I handed Frank my phone or my client and said, please get some ridiculous video of me laying on the ground. And this is one of your behind the scenes. So this shows me laying on the ground, taking the pictures, having a fun time out here at the lake. Video, video, video. In advanced, you can also do shout outs. And actually, all of these levels, you can share posts, share posts, share posts, whether someone had something that you agree with or you thought was valuable to your audience or an event going on that you wanted to share, or just shout outs. This is Summit Dog Training, and they hired me to do a video production for them. And so I make sure I share that and I share them and I tag them. So shout outs are always awesome in the advanced stage too, as you get to know people. And this is one of those more personal posts. So here I'm talking all about Frank, my assistant, and we did a lot of sessions this year. And at one point, I was photographing the people, and they turned around. They said, "Oh my gosh, look at Frank! Take his picture." So I turned around and took a picture of Frank here, holding both of their dogs and the giant reflector. And he had this vest full, pockets full of like my phone and the squeaky and the treats and his phone with the app. And oh my gosh, and he's just the best. So I did a shout out to Frank, and look at all these comments. We love Frank. We love Frank. We love Frank. And then people who recognize the dog. Oh my gosh, is that Pirate? And I think I saw your car somewhere. So I got tons and tons of engagement on posts like this. This is not like the final finished image of these dogs, but it was a behind the scenes peek. And then also, don't rule out audio. So, podcasts are really getting big right now. And um, I think I'm gonna talk about this more in another class, but you could do a podcast so easy and free. It's ridiculously easy to start a podcast. My original podcast was called Tales with Tales, and the season 1 was all me telling my different animal stories, and season 2 was when I interviewed my clients and people I knew. I said, "Hey, do you have a cool pet story? I want to feature it on my podcast." And that was super cool. So don't rule out audio either. Um, oh, also, you could be a guest on podcasts. So if you know someone in your area or outside of it, whatever you want to do, that has a podcast looking for guests, definitely raise your hand and say yes. Another way is radio. I think a while back I did a whole video on this as a nice free marketing tactic, is to be on a radio show. If you're having any kind of event, especially, or something the community would be super interested in, uh, ask if you can be on a radio show. This was actually me co-hosting. I was a host of this radio program. It was called Critter Patter, and I was able to interview a lot of different people, but you can be interviewed as well. So don't rule out audio. This is on the advanced, but it can be a really cool experience and a very different way to reach your audience. And it can be something um, more accessible. Okay. So, I feel like I talked so fast. Again, this is not an exact exhaustive list, but you can grab the worksheet with all the a whole bunch more ideas here on propetphotog.com/content topic ideas. It's that, but your homework, your assignment for the week is to go back through this, and, hopefully you've written some notes. Are you basic, intermediate, or advanced in your level? And then brainstorm content ideas to post in the next week. You can come up with 10 different ideas really quickly, especially if you use that worksheet, bam, bam, bam. In the next hour, you can have content ideas for the next week. And so you could use the worksheet as a printed form. I believe you can fill it in a PDF or just start a Google Doc or somewhere on notes in your phone and write all these ideas down for next time you run out of ideas. This is your basics, your intermediate, your advanced, your kind of your ongoing content. All right. Let's do a little recap of all the different classes. The previous class, we talked about social media. Today, we talked about zero idea what to post. Here's some your topic ideas. Tomorrow, we're going to take those topic ideas and categorize them. And so, how are you going to present these topics? And also, this is where you can, I'll tell you about how to put some sporadic content or the ones that just kind of come to you. After that, the 4th class is gonna be beyond social media. Yes, we're going to talk about other digital marketing and also what can you do offline for your marketing ideas. I know if you're in this class, you probably feel like you've done all the things. So I have a ton more ideas on that class. And then the very last day, we're going to do a full Q&A. Now, as soon as we're done with this presentation, we'll have a Q&A on today's topics, but the last day of the class is going to be all Q&A to answer any of those questions we might have missed this week. And also, full transparency, I'm going to have a special offer for a program that's launching in 2023 just for pet photographers, and you can win a spot. Oh, yeah. Woo! If you can't wait for any of that and you need to contact me right now, you can email me, Monique at propetphotog.com. Again, check out the resources on propetphotog.com. I have all kinds of free videos here on YouTube. I have a Pro Pet Photog Instagram, a Facebook page and group, and the podcast. All right, that is the class for today. Now we're going to open it up to questions and answers. Alrighty, I am back. That was a little bit longer class. Thanks for sticking with me. I know we had some great questions in here, which I have noted. If you have any questions about the content from this class, be sure to type it in here right now too, as we're going. And remember to go get the resource so you can work through these topic ideas for you specifically. And I know I talked about it in the class recording, but many of these topics are ones that you can recycle. When you're talking about me, about my dog, where am I located, different things like that, do those posts every couple of months, especially as you're growing. If you're new and your social grows pretty quickly, then you'll want to do some reintroduction posts. So some of these you can actually recycle. People are not going to go back 2 months in your Facebook, let's say, and they're not going to go back and see it again. Like, didn't Monique post something like, no, no, they won't remember that because they follow 100 other people, right? So you can repost a lot of these. So another little tidbit for you there. This has a lot more solid, actionable things to do. And oh my gosh, even as I was watching this video again, I came up with a bajillion other ideas. I sure wish that I could give you like every single idea that's in my head, but that's not possible, obviously. But that is why we're doing Q&A. Now, let's see. First question. First, I want to say really quickly, Panda says, and let people know you won't share their email addresses. Yes, that is true. And so we talk about email in an upcoming class, and I always suggest that you use an email service. There's MailChimp, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, and they all have double opt-ins and subscribe buttons at the bottom of every one of them, and they're legit email services. So keep that in mind if you have an email service. I do not suggest you send out, marketing type emails through just your regular Google account. It doesn't follow the rules, especially if you're in another country. There's I think it's called GDPR. So you have to do that in other countries. Okay. So I thought I'd just tackle that right away because it was easy. Thank you, Panda. So Patty says, question from a newbie. I would love to collaborate with a local dog boarding facility where I board our dog. What are some suggestions and best ways to do that without a big cash outlay? Okay, I've been thinking about this during the live stream, and I have a couple different ideas for you. So this is already your dog groomer, which is fantastic. You already have this relationship with them. One thing I love about dog groomers is it's kind of one of those extras, kind of like what we offer is an extra. It's not something they have to have. So it's people that have a little bit of extra cash and they'll go the extra mile for their dog. So there's a couple ways that you can go about this. And I know you said in a less expensive one, but I want to answer this for everyone too. One way that I really love, and you've probably seen my videos about doing display marketing, is to offer to photograph the owners or maybe the main manager Oh, boarding. Oh, why did I read grooming? Oh my gosh. So same idea. Sorry, it's exact same idea. So people that have the extra money. So same idea though is that offer to photograph the owner or the main manager of the boarding facility, their dog. And so this could be like a no session fee, almost like a, like a model call, but specifically, you are specifically inviting that person to, and you can photograph their dog with the idea that you're going to print something to hang up in their space. Now, you don't have to go crazy with this. You could have a space that has 116 by 20. You spent however much, less than $100 probably on that. And you don't have to make it canvas. You can make it a mounted print. You could you could just get the 16 by 20 and put it on a piece of foam core yourself. A black piece of foam core, nice sharp Sharpie, and you get a really nice edge, 3M it to their wall and put your rack cards next to it. So you're out maybe $30. So that's really inexpensive. And then again, you have that person saying, "Oh my gosh, yes, Patty brings her dog here, and this was my dog that she photographed. Isn't that amazing?" So that's one way you could do it at the boarding facility. Another thing that you could actually make money at, well, first of all, too, like you could just bring in your brochures too. And one thing I do, if you don't do, something like this, that can take a little bit of time. That can be complex. But you can also say, "Hey, I would love to put my brochures up." And maybe if you already have a printed sample that you're willing to display, you just put any of your samples up. And then what you can do is you could do this verbally or have like a little card that you print off. Say, "Hey, anyone who sees this and books a session with me gets X amount of dollars back to your boarding facility." I love doing that, and that really makes people's ears perk up, like, "Hold on, if all I have to do is put these cards here and next time someone asks about these pictures, yeah, here, book it with Patty. If you do complete a session, you'll get X amount of dollars and you'll go right back into that boarding facility and buy a gift certificate and give it to your client. Make sure your costs are all figured out in there." But I'm usually around 20 bucks. I mean, it's not that much you have to offer, but the shop owners will really, really appreciate that type of collaboration. Oh, dog classes too? Let's see. They also offer dog classes. How about offering to take pics of their client students? Yeah. So that was going to be my next idea, Patty. And what I would do though is for me, I would rather make that into a little bit of an event, kind of like not mini sessions, but like a private event. And so this wouldn't be open to everyone. It would only be open to the boarding clients of that facility. And I would approach them and say, maybe this could be the second phase. Like you have your rack cards there, or your brochures, maybe a sample. You've got this going a little bit, and unless you're like really have a good relationship, you can offer this straight away as well. Say, "Let's have an event. Let's have a portrait event. Maybe plan this for Valentine's Day because it gives you a little bit of time, but it's exclusive to the boarding facility people. It is a perk for their boarders that you set up maybe a little Valentine's thing." I did one that was really simple, had like a $1 Dollar Tree, love sign against like a white wall, and they could get in like reduced cost. Or you could say, "Hey, listen, a lot of people set these up where the boarding facility pays you whatever, say $300 to be there for an afternoon. And then any of the boarding clients can come in and the clients get it for free, but the boarding facility's already paid you." I really love it doing it that way. And then whatever pictures you take, you have promised them one digital, but they also get a full gallery and you will get their email address, and you'll have maybe a order form, or you'll have a gallery with, ordering straight in it like Pixie Set, so you can make money with those. So not only is it marketing, um, but you're gonna make a little bit of money. So you can make that special prices or not, however you wanna do it. You can do in-person sales instead if you don't wanna bother with the online gallery. But this is another great way that you can team up with that boarding facility for very little cost, and it's a bonus for both sets of people. So I would say you could either do it where, they could hire you for kind of an open house or special event exclusive, or if they wanna charge their clients a little bit and say, Patty's only offering this to you. And it could be this really special price, however you want to do that. But that's a really great way. If your studio is mainly posed things, you might want to do that instead of just doing action images of the dogs at boarding. I know somebody on YouTube, which I don't know if he's in here, Senior Yaxon, and he does quite a few types of sessions at boarding facilities to the point where I think he works at the boarding facility, but you could always make something a deal with the boarding facility and say, let's do a seasonal collab every, 3 or 4 months. You pay me to come in and we're going to do this for your boarding clients. Um, so those are some ways that you could work with boarding. It could be groomers. It could be a lot of different the trainers are awesome. You could do that. And they all have like a space already. So you set it up in their space. Sometimes if you want to market this outside of that, I would say attach it to a fundraiser. That's kind of on the mini session side of it. Just do what's comfortable for you there. But those are a couple of ideas for collaborating with your boarding facility. Ooh, okay. Frank also, Patty, tell me if that answered your question. If you had something else in mind, let me know. Otherwise, Frank says, how do marketing sessions other than pet sessions? I want to advertise my video sessions for horse lessons. Okay. And I know we've talked about this a little bit, and I also offer video for clients, but mine's a different product. So I offer like little commercials. So if clients have or explainer videos, I've done quite a few that it's like a 3-minute video for them. I do script to screen. It's highly produced and all of this, and they get a 3-minute video, and then typically they add on a 30-second social video. So it's a lot harder to market these because when you're marketing to a business, they're very busy. And I find that businesses aren't on social as much. So, we're going to go into some offline marketing stuff in class in day 4. So we could talk about a little. You'll get some ideas from there too. But what I want to do to answer your question now is, um, you need to be posting examples of that. So honestly, Frank, I would do your own like highlight reel or sizzle reel and take some footage. Like you and we filmed some footage at a horse session, remember? So I'm thinking you can use that. Maybe ask her because she's a friend of ours, or just get some pictures that look like it could be a generic kind of horse or of the other horses that were there, and just take a little bit of clips from your clients and put it into a sizzle reel and put that on your socials. Then they can say, oh, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Or make your own, like stand in front of your video camera and say, hey, this is what I'm offering. This is so, so great for your students because they can look back on it. Just like instant replay of sports on TV, they get all that instant feedback and they can slow things down and they can pause, and really you can assess how the horseback riding lessons are going. This is a really, really valuable tool for students. And this is, I offer it, and it's really, really simple for you. All you have to do is just tell me what day to show up. I'll film it and I will send it to you. That's it. So you want to make sure that you tell people how easy it is, a little bit of what your process is like, and really the benefits to them. Why would they do that? Like this is a very um unique service. It's so unique. And so many people haven't thought of this yet. It's kind of like, well, in pet photography, some people say, oh, that's a thing. So we're constantly trying to educate people on what we do and why we do it. So, Frank, I would definitely first off put together some kind of sizzle reel. And if you're willing to stand in front of your video camera, I know you have microphones, that kind of thing. Even ask someone if you can go out to their barn and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to film this promo. We've worked together before. Can I film it at your barn? Or if they would be willing to do a review for you, or even an on-camera review. I've loved working with Frank, stuff like that. So that would be fantastic for you if we're talking about the digital realm. So you're still going to have to follow all the things that we talked about in this video. Your who, what, when, where, why. right? So those are all amazing things. I know you post pretty consistently of your photos and the stories behind those. But if you want to kind of reach the horse people, you got to start giving horse content and letting them know because people don't know that you offer that. And then a lot of what it takes for these is to personally reach out. We're going to talk about that in a later class, but personally reach out to these barns and horse owners and probably even like with a message or an email, something like that. And it could be really simple, really brief, and just be like, I love horses. I'm fascinated by them. I have this thing that I offer and I'd love to just talk to you about it. It could be really, really, really brief email. Um, and it could even say the benefits in there. Like, I have something that I think your students would really, really love, and I'm trying to get the word out. So would you mind meeting up with me? So that is something that I would suggest you do in person. You could do it via email. Right now it's kind of snowy. So maybe not driving out to some of remote barns today. But there's quite a few things you can do, Frank, for video that's very similar to what we're doing, and kind of look where the horse people are online. So if the barn owner is on LinkedIn, I was doing a lot with my video marketing on LinkedIn because it's B2B. I'm marketing to other businesses. And any of you pet photographers here, a really easy way to have some extra income is to offer headshots, business portraits to other pet based businesses. And if you get into the right places, they will have you back every few months when they get new staff. And what's great is then they get to have a picture with their pet. And I've done pictures with, oh my gosh, birds and lizards and dogs and cats. It's been a great fun, actually. And it's such a fast turnaround. So when you're talking about B2B, I definitely add that in there too. That's a little extra tidbit for you. Frank, does that give you some ideas? I hope so. Let's see. I think we talked about this. They also have dog classes offering to take pics of their client students. Yeah. And you know what you could do too, Patty? I just thought of another thing is if they have a welcome packet kind of like at the shelters. So if they say, okay, everyone, this first day of puppy obedience class, here's your packet, your welcome packet, ask them if you could put a flyer in their packet. These are very inexpensive to make. You can print them off at home and just have something in there about what you do. See if they allow you to do that because that's pretty, you know, low cost and low effort type of marketing that could really get in front of people. It could be one of those other points that they go, "Oh yeah, I've heard of Patty. I've heard of Patty," and put like a nice little picture on there if you want, or attach your business card, and just ask them if they can give it into their puppy class or their other training class welcome information. So there's another idea for marketing for you. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yes, make a rewatch, yes, for sure. Frank, yes, thanks. Okay, cool. Yay. And, like, Frank and I are in the same county, so we can help each other with some of this content. Now, I do hire Frank to do a lot of this for me, but if you know another photographer, maybe you know a wedding photographer, a baby photographer, something like that, and you could do a trade. So all that content I say, get a ton of behind the scenes. Like go to a non-competitor photographer or camera club and say, "Hey, listen, it would be really, really great if we can do an exchange." The next client that you have, especially if they have like a repeat client that knows them and trusts them, say, "Hey, would you mind? I need marketing information material, and so I'm going to have my friend Patty come by and take pictures of me taking pictures of you during your session. Wouldn't that be fun?" And then that say baby photographer can come along with you to a session too, even if it's at the shelters. Okay. It would be totally fine as long as the shelter's okay with it, or, the cause. Maybe you're doing uh, like I work with foster based all the time, and it's kind of like a regular session. So the fosters will meet me at a location and we'll take pictures on location. It's a faster session, but you can always have your friend who's another kind of photographer come out and take pictures and video of you doing that. So there's a very low cost way of getting a whole bunch of social media content that shows the behind the scenes and the process, and you can have it on file for yourself. Panda, when I took my dog to puppy kindergarten, I would have liked, pictures. That's true. It's kind of funny. I had this idea at one point, to do, like, kindergarten, graduation, pictures, and I know some trainers just do this, they click it with their phone, but you can get these really cute, like, backdrops that's, a bookshelf or something and have, like, a little paper scroll tied with, a ribbon that has paw prints on it, so, like, they're a little graduate. So that would be a really fun idea too. So people who do the, training classes and there's going to be a date that they uh, graduate, and maybe that's something you come in every couple of months and you photograph the graduates and you offer them to buy photos as well. So those are some ideas. It's not like a ton of money. I don't know how to do it where you make a massive amount of money. But I find, and I think Frank has found this too, is that sometimes when you do your volunteer efforts and you say, okay, you're going to get a picture, but you also have the option to buy prints if you want, or buy additional pictures or whatever. Adding that just into your Pixie set or however whatever kind of gallery you have, like, the labs that I use are connected to Pixie set. It doesn't cost me any extra to say, "Okay, here's your free picture that you get digitally, but hey, if you wanna order prints, it's super easy. Here's some prints." And I don't make it like everything that I offer because I don't want it to be overwhelming. But here's the main things people would want to buy. And then, I encourage them, hey, you could send this to your parents or your grandparents if you think they want a picture of your dog too, or your grown kids or, whoever that you think might want a print of this picture. And I get, a percentage every year of people that order from their online gallery. So it's kind of a nice little extra. You're already doing all this work. So may as well throw in an option for them to purchase some small prints too. And this is usually the only time I offer what I call floppy prints. So in my studio, I do not offer floppy prints at all, except wallet size, real tiny. Everything's mounted, canvas, bamboo, things like that. But when it's at an event, like say I'm covering an event, like Frank covered the Run for Fun. What was that called, Frank? Where everyone was all dressed up. And so I actually participated in that, and Frank did the photo booth. And instead of just saying, here's your photo, how about here's your photo and here's some ways you could order prints too? Like, why not? So all that little bit, it only doesn't cost you anything extra to do that. You just click, enable ordering. That's it. That's all I have to do in my Pixie Set gallery. Boop, and enable ordering. Yeah, super nice. Photo booth at Run for Fun for Animal Friends Alliance has generated some print sales through Pixie Set, right? And you didn't expect that to happen. And but it's nice to get that little bit here and there. When we're talking about going to events or having a booth or volunteering to do all these things, it'd be nice if you had that option for people. Like Panda's saying, like, if that had been an option, she would have gotten it, but they don't know it's an option, right? So, I've gone, like, off the rails here a little bit with the content of the day, but I really hope that the class today gave you just a ton of ideas for your content, whether you're beginning, intermediate, or advanced. I do suggest you download that, content topics sheet that I put here. And it's within this video too, and I will put it in the description if it's not there. So download this and you can work through some of these, and then you can just tape it right next to your computer when you're like, I don't remember what I wanted to post. Or maybe you go into Canva and you're like, hey, I have an extra 15 minutes. Let me just make up some of these and put them in a folder that I could post when I don't know what to post. So this is a lot of great stuff that you could pre-generate when you have time. And we're kind of coming up on a time of year where you might have a little bit of extra quiet time to pull everything that you've made this year, or things that you're going to implement next year, and make all this different content in like a free resource like Canva. So I definitely suggest you do something like that. And here's a little bit of a help sheet for you there. Tomorrow, we are going to take all of these ideas and sort them into categories. So maybe you're getting all these ideas and you've got some stuff pre designated. Okay, I really need to cover this, 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 and this, right? But what if something else comes up, something spontaneous? How else can you do that? Or you just like, you have an idea come to mind. How else can we present our um, our our social media and our digital media and um oh gosh, what was the other thing I was going to say? And on our offers. So I'm going to have a lot of examples in there too. There's will be a worksheet with that tomorrow. If you make sure that you're on the where to go? The newsletter. Here we go. Make sure you're on the newsletter because normally that newsletter goes out every Friday. But this week I'm sending it every day so that you have a reminder. We go in a little, just a little blurb about what the class is going to be. And if there's a download, you can get it ahead of time. So that I send out in the morning. All right. Did we have one more question? Panda says, how about photos of agility training, dogs running and jumping, etc., action shots? Yeah, you could definitely do that. So that depends on your style of your photography and your business. If you are already an action dog photographer, I would definitely say go that route. It can be more difficult if what you're really trying to sell is posed studio photos, and then you can confuse people by then offering agility photos. So it's kind of up to you. Sometimes when they have these competitions, you can have a booth there too. So I don't know. The price range is probably all over the place. I think there's a lot more shows like agility than there are other types of events for dogs. But yeah, you can definitely do that. Or it's kind of like the same vein as the dog boarding and grooming and training, same idea. So here's all these people, your ideal clients gathered. What can you offer them that they would love? Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. Let's see. We have got officially 4 more minutes left here for live Q&A. Remember, we will be back tomorrow for day 3 of Marketing Back to Basics class. I'm so excited that you're all here. I'd love to hear your feedback over in the Pro Pet Photog Facebook group as well. We have some great conversations over there, and it'll give you even more ideas, honestly, because you'll be like, oh, Patty posted that. That's a good idea. I should do that for my studio. So that's really cool. Be careful because AKC event, the club hires a photographer. You don't want to step on their toes, so to speak, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of other things that go into event type photography. But if you're talking about the training, why not pop into the training, right? Yeah, the beginning classes. Exactly. I even photographed once a herding dog trial. Like they were kind of training at the same time, but it was very fascinating, and it was a beautiful location, because they're out there on, like, a farm. So, you had these Colorado mountains in the background, these dogs just running, and I kinda did it because I wanted to learn how to do that, and I think I had a new lens. I was trying to decide how fast can I focus. Side note. Okay. So please do mark your calendars for tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock Mountain. Just look up 5 o'clock p.m. Denver time and you will find it on a calculator so you know what time it is. 5 p.m. Mountain is 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern and 6 Central. So that helps if you're in the States, the lower 48. But I would love to see you again tomorrow and kind of continue on with this. I'd love to know what you do for your homework, what you come up with out of all this giant list. And of course, I try to follow as many of you on socials too, so I can support you there and be a little cheerleader for you. And let's see, anything else I wanted to go over today? I don't think so. I'll see you in the Facebook group with any more information or sharing. Yes, you're welcome, Patty. And oh my gosh, I can smell banana bread wafting in from the kitchen. Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. Thank you everyone so much for coming. And you know my outro. Don't you know my outro? As always, I wish you many whoops, purrs, and TREATSs. Okay, see you tomorrow. Replay viewers, remember to type your comments, questions, and I'll get to them. Thanks, everyone. Okay, bye.